Myself sideways because then I can see the slide better. Can you guys all hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So for those of you that are really like all in the game or want to get more all in the game, what I would really recommend that you do is set aside some time, like put it into your agenda. Nikki did a video on this. It's much more eloquent than I'm going to do. And I'd recommend that you watch. It's in Beatnik. If you're not in that group, we can add you. So essentially, what they learned at leadership was a lot about storytelling, and it's not something new. We've heard about this for a while, but they actually had a woman come and speak about storytelling. And so we want to share a little bit because some of us in the last couple of days have done some posts. Jen, you did one today with that, right? The one about Linda.
That wasn't actually me doing this method. I took a post that she made and I.
Okay, but still, it's kind of that. Okay, so what ends up often happening in our posts is we tend to be more talking to and informational than we do about telling a story that will elicit an emotional response from the person that's reading it. So you can go to the next slide. So what she talks about is looking at why does storytelling work so well? And it's because it draws people in, it has emotion attached to it, and they can try to connect something they're hearing in that story to their experience. They put themselves in there and they can relate to it. And when we can relate to something, we're more likely to resonate with it or to be interested in that person's story. So if I were to say to you, for example, like, Shakeology tastes so good, it's helped me lose weight and get healthier. That's just giving you information. But if I say to you, this thing that I didn't think I was going to like and planned on returning has helped me be able to feel confident when I'm going bathing suit shopping, which who likes bathing suit shopping? You know, a little bit of tidbit, but I told you a story. I didn't give a lot of detail in it, but essentially just from a tiny little example, like when you tell a story attached to an experience, it's going to resonate more with people. So obviously the goal is to redefine story, what it is and what it's not. So you can go to the next one. So what story, there's a nice little quote. You can keep going. So the goal, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what the story is not. The story is not a list of results and features. A story is not a bunch of well-placed emojis. It's not a photo. It's not a bullet point list. And it's not buzzwords or jargon that people don't understand. Like using words like challenge group, or using words like shake yo, or using words like, I don't know, what else, what other words do we use? Energize. They don't know what that means. So don't use them because people aren't going to have any idea what you're saying. Okay, you can go to the next one. Like I said, Nikki's was much more eloquent. So this is kind of the meat of what to think about. And I actually, when I did my post yesterday, I did one, and this morning I did one, is I type mine in my notes app on my computer, and then I have it right in my phone. Does everybody else know that they can get to your notes, all of your stuff on your computer? Everybody know that? Can people talk? Are you there? Okay.
You did.
Okay. Does everybody know you can do that?
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. Okay. Because there's some people that I'm sometimes surprised that don't already know that. Okay. So what I did is I wrote down moments, and then beginning, middle, and end, emotions, and characters. And then I actually wrote my post around those things. It wasn't like an earth-shattering one, and I tend to be too wordy, but it was interesting because what it elicited in me was more emotion about my post. Instead of it just being a post I was putting up there just to get a post up, like, oh, look, I got my post done for the day. It actually, me reflecting on that story, moved something in me. Does that make sense? So it was a neat process. So a story has a particular moment in it. So as opposed to saying something like general, you would say something like, I remember it was a Thursday morning, it was raining outside, the kids were screaming, and blah, blah, blah. So like you're putting someone right into that moment. And you want to tell a story that has a beginning, what happened first, what was the problem, or what was the concern, or whatever, and then a middle, and then an end. And you want to make sure that you share some emotions about what you were experiencing, or bringing out emotions that other people might experience, what it did for you, how you felt, what it was like for you, and not just facts. And then characters that you care about. So like people start hearing things about your life and your kids, and they are curious about what your story is. Okay, go ahead. So then there's 3 sort of parts. There's finding the story, crafting, and telling. So the first slide is about finding. So there's 3 types of stories that you can sort of look for. Stories about the products and opportunities, so the products that we're sharing and the coaching opportunity, and stories that illustrate the lifestyle that using these products and this coaching has done for us, and stories that lead our. So those are, and then when you go into finding your story, these are the 6 things, and you can write these down or you can look up the slides, but these are the types of stories you could tell about. Make a list of the first time that you got a paycheck, the first time that you increased your weights, the first time you got through a workout without modifying, the first time that you helped a friend feel more confident, something like that. Make a list of customers and team members and share something about their story or how their story affects yours. Make a list of your or their biggest challenges from customers or team members, or make a list of what people's biggest challenges are and tell a story about that as it relates to you. The story of the one that got away, that one is, the person that you wanted to have as your dream team member, but you were too scared to ask them, or the friend that you wanted to ask to be in your challenge group, but you were afraid they'd say no, and then they go and join the gym or Weight Watchers or somebody else, and you don't get the chance to help them and build that connection. When someone said you couldn't, but you did anyway. So when someone, people didn't think you'd be able to stick with this new program, or that you would be able to earn income to pay for your Shakeology or whatever that might be. And then number 6, which I think is one that all of us need to do more, is just to make note of everyday moments that just share about your lifestyle. And I don't know about you guys, but I have moments throughout my day, I'm like, oh, that would be cool about something to write about, but I don't have time to sit and write a post. So one of the suggestions is, if you have an interaction with somebody that was meaningful, or your kids did something really funny, or there was something that you wanted to share, go into your notes app and just write a couple of keywords to remind yourself, and hopefully then you can have a running list of everyday moments. So if you do need to write a post, I think sometimes we think our post has to be right about that day in our life, but it doesn't have to be. It can be about something else. Okay, I was just going to scroll through, but I can't move it. Go ahead, Jen. So then the second part is crafting your story, and you're making sure that it has that beginning, middle, and end part to it. So here's the rules. You want it to be very vivid. You want to describe things about the exact detail of your story, just like back in writing, when we were learning in elementary school, people and places, what it was like. Because if you include sensory experiences, people are going to connect to that. Like if you say something like I just said in my example, the noise of the kids on a busy morning, or the smell of coffee, or baking of something, or the wind in your face, like people can relate to that. When you say those things, their brain gets triggered, and their memories of experiences they've had like that sort of open up, and that's when they can get drawn into your story, because they're curious what else is going to happen. So then again, include the emotions, what was hard, what was the struggle, and the hope, and the kind of coming together, and then talk about specific details. And then the last is the actual then telling of the story. There's different ways you can do it on your social media posts, telling your story and sneak peeks into coaching, or if you're doing virtual events with coaching or with challenge groups, and then one-on-one when you're talking to people about the groups or the coaching opportunity. And the most important story that will impact you the greatest will be the story that you tell yourself. If you're telling yourself a certain story about what you're not able to do, then that will be the story that is going to resonate with everything else that you say and everything else that you post. So that is the quick and dirty. You can read through those. And I will say to you that at first when she was talking about this, I was like, this feels really intimidating. But a couple of questions that kind of were helpful to me was, as we're telling our story, why does this story matter? How is this going to grab someone's attention? What difference does this make in my life? How can this be something that someone else could resonate with? And I think it's going to keep you more interested in. And the other piece that I think we often forget about will be, we'll think that we posted a part of our story. Oh, people have already heard it. But if you're growing your social media following, you're going to have more people that haven't heard your story. And I'll tell you, like, Jen, how many times have we heard each other's stories? Countless. She's muted probably. I've never been like, oh, I don't really want to hear it again. It's sort of like a movie you watch over again, a book you really like. Like Carly's has a really powerful story. If you haven't heard Carly's story, I don't know how many times I've heard it in posts and in person, and when she was on stage at Summit, I've heard her story, but I still drawn in every time because it elicits emotion, because I can connect to it. So keep sharing the stuff that even if you think you've shared it before, because you never know how it's going to resonate with someone. So,
and can I add just one thing to that, Beck? Mm-hmm. I think the other thing is that every time you share it, you're in a different spot and it's hitting you in a different way, and it means something different to you, or there's a different piece of the story that you're trying to express. So just to sort of piggyback on that. And also, I was listening to a podcast today that was all about telling your stories. And the one thing she said was, just be sure whatever story you tell, it's a story that you've been able to, like if it's something that you, a trauma or something really hard you went through, make sure you've sort of healed in that. Like it's not still an open wound for you, because you don't want your storytelling to be like counseling hour on Facebook or Instagram, where like you obviously still have this open wound and you're sharing it and everyone's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like you want people to connect with here was the beginning, here was what happened, and here's how, like we kind of tie it up in a nice, not in a nice pretty package always, but like, does that make sense?
Yeah, you need to have some hope at it, and you have to have something about how there was meaning and purpose in it, and not just sort of like it out being like, what are those called, those hanging chads? So like, wait, is she okay?
Right.
Like, is she going to be okay?
Because then the way that they respond to that will be different than how you are hoping that, different than what you want.
Right. Yeah. And I think, and Jen and I both also listened to this sort of marketing webcast thing this week, and what this girl talked about with the storytelling is, she's like, would you rather have somebody tell you their story and share about something that is sort of moves within you, or would you rather have somebody say, I have this stuff, it's so great, you should buy it? You know, you want people connect and resonate with you because of your story, and then they'll be interested in what is it about her that's different, or what is she doing that I might be interested in. But if they can't connect with you, they don't care what it is that you're offering, because they're not interested in it, and they're not going to resonate with you. So, and then the last piece that she really talked about was that you're going to have to show up and tell your story for a while, because people really want to see that you're legitimate. And this is something that I know Jen and I, Monica, you're somewhere on here, and Jess have really talked a lot about, was that, you know, Monica and Jen's been a coach for 3.5 years. Monica and I are coming up on 3, right?
Jess just hit 3.
Yeah, she's going to, yeah. And so I think that, you know, for the 3 of us, like we think, oh, we've told this story, or I keep saying my battery's low. How is a battery on a computer low when it's plugged in? Can someone help me with that?
Time to get a new computer.
I'll be updating.
No, it's on now, but it's very low. I need to plug it in. So I think that's the biggest thing. And you know what's interesting was that I did my post about my story to connect with new people, but Monica, one of your girls who I've been in groups with, commented on it. I tagged you in it, and I was like, holy cow. Like, I just said, holy cow. Oh my goodness, that post wasn't about that. If one other person can be motivated and continue, that she was connected to this journey by Monica, but then she and I have been in groups together and my stories resonated with her. I'm like, that's purposeful. We're not sharing our story to sell a challenge bag. We're sharing our story to help someone with their journey. Would we love for them to choose that should be part of their story? Yes, that would be great. but that's not our why for posting and sharing stuff. So I love what Jen just said. You're not putting stuff out there as your journal in needing therapy. You're putting stuff out there so that people can resonate and connect to you, and you can not leave it kind of like this open thing. So anyways, yeah, I think that was it. But I really feel like if you challenge yourself with taking the time to sort of go through these points, you are going to, it's going to move you too. So anyways, there you go.
Gracias. I have the picture here of the coach checklist. Did you want to go through that still, or do you want me to do that?
You talking to me, or you can go through there?
Yes, I was talking to Jessica, but maybe she can't hear me. Oh. Oh, sorry. He's waving.
Sorry.
I don't hear him.
Here and
Sorry, you were muted. What's that,
Oh.
Brian?
I didn't think I was.
Can you hear me now?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, my computer did something weird. I don't know. So I had to jump on my phone. So I'm like trying to scroll back and forth so I can like see people versus slides and all this stuff. But I can talk about it if you want. Actually,
can I stop you before you do it? I know, but it's for a really good reason. Because one of the new coaches on our team just hopped on, and I really want to welcome her before you start. The stuff we love. So for those of you that are your computer, you can see Katie and me. I just have to like scroll through. So everybody, this is Katie, who joined our team a couple weeks ago. And it's crazy because we met on Instagram, but we actually my computer decided again. We actually don't live that far away from each other, which is super funny to me. She has been doing health and fitness for a long time. And she's a big runner. And she also, what's the name of the certification, Katie? That you're the nutrition?
It's the PN1. It's for sports nutrition, sports and exercise nutrition.
You should just say it.
Say what?
I'm confused.
I think we lost her again, Katie. I'm sorry. She may hop back on.
Whoops.
I love your striped wall right behind you, though. Just
Thanks.
totally unrelated.
Well, welcome, Katie. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
So I don't know what that mid-sentence was that Becky was going to ask.
She wanted you to say what you already said. Maybe.
Could have been.
Oh.
We're super glad that you're joining our team. We're glad that you're here.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Becky's gone.
I guess.
And Amy just asked a question. I don't know if you guys saw that in the chat. Do you all have one Facebook page? My concern is my page is such a mixed audience, including family, who many just won't get this or will possibly give me a hard time. Any tips on this? I was just reading your question, and I think different people would say different things. I know that there are certain, sorry, I have children yelling in the background. Some people who say for this specific reason, they have a business page. And so they do business things on a business page and personal things on a personal page. And if they have Instagram, they don't invite family or people. There's other people who say, you know what, like they might not totally get it, but it's still you and it's still your story and they love you and they'll, you know, hop on the train. And that, so for me personally, I have waffled back and forth and I have just found that I have better traction if I just stay on my personal page and I post about everything. So like telling a story doesn't always mean that it's related to Beachbody. Like I could be telling a story about my son with his anxiety. I could be telling a story about going on a trip. I could be telling a story about the grocery store, or I could be telling a story about a transformation. I mean, I think, so for me personally, and others of you can sort of chime in on this, but I think I've fallen in the camp of, I mean, I'm not just Beachbody, and so having a designated page for that feels kind of segmented for me, where it's like, it's part of me, it's part of what I do, it's, my kids are part of me, you know, my husband is part of me, my, you know, all those, my other job is part of me, and so for me, I just Yeah, like some of my family's like, why do you only post about Beachbody? I'm like, I don't. What do you mean? Well, that post about, and it's like something not even Beachbody related, but they're like, but I thought it was maybe Beachbody. I'm like, yeah, it didn't actually have anything to do with Beachbody. But it's like, I just don't care, honestly. So I don't know. Anybody else can chime in on that. But Monica, you want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good question, Amy. And I know we've talked about it a little bit, but essentially, I'm kind of with Jen. Like, I do have a business page and I don't really use it. Literally today, I got on there for the first time and it's probably been like a year, just because I noticed people were liking it. But here's my train of thought, and I know that everyone's different. Like, I share my life in whatever way that I want to. And there is a very easy unfollow button that anyone can unfollow or hide my post if they don't like it. But more than not, people are following me, and they might not be liking every page or picture, but I'll be darned if I go to church and they tell me my life story because they've watched every single picture and video and post, but they don't like anything. And so, family and the people closest to you will always be the hardest critics. I don't know why that is. It's weird, but they will always be the hardest people, and they will be so tough on you. And it hurt me in the beginning, but afterwards I'm like, you know what? I'm looking for that Monica that needed this Beachbody experience. I'm looking for her. And nothing is going to get in my way because I'm looking for that person. And what someone else thinks, none of my business. That's what Rachel Hollis says. It's none of my business what someone else thinks. And so it takes time. I don't want you to feel like that came at the very first moment or first year coach. Like, it took some time to build up to that. But essentially you grow as a person through your posts too. And so just think about that Amy that needed this opportunity. And that's who I speak to every day.
Okay, that is helpful. I mean, your personality shows through in all your posts, regardless of what the content is. But you don't always have to explain yourself to people, and I think that's what I need to do is put up breaks sometimes, because you kind of sometimes feel the need if someone questions you to have to explain yourself. But would you agree you don't always have to explain yourself? So.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree with that. Sorry, I'll speak on that one. I was trying to unmute. I know that we all are muted at the moment. Amy, I'm the same way. I actually, at the very beginning when I first started, it will be 3 years in November for me to be a coach. When I first started, everybody was like, you have to have a likes page. You have to have a likes page. Everything has to be a business and it got to be a likes page. I never did that. I mean, I have one. I think it has one picture on it, and I only have it so I can have.
We all have one. We just don't use it.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, just like the other coaches and the women said in here so far, is just I share my life. Period. My life is my family, my friends. Beachbody happens to be part of that. Fun things I do. I like to go to concerts. Like, all of these things are part of who I am and who make me up. And so I just share that. And sometimes it's a real heartfelt share through Facebook, and sometimes it's a look what my kid did this morning, because I have people who are following me because of my business. I have family members on there who just want to know what's going on. Like Monica said, I have people at church who come up to me and talk to me about things that I wrote that I had no idea that they're even paying attention, and they would never in their lifetime push that button, but they are watching every step that I do, right? So there are people out there watching, whether they interact with you or not, they're still there. And I just try to be purposeful and think the posts that I am posting that are meant for someone, like more specific than, oh, this Grandparents' Day and this is a picture of my mom and my kid, the ones that I am sharing with purpose, I just try to lead with my heart with that. And that's what I go with, because if it helps one person, it's worth it to me. So if it means being vulnerable or feeling uncomfortable in the moment, or maybe sharing something that might sound scary to me, I don't have a problem with that, because I really do, or I have seen, I guess, over the last 3 years that it does make a difference when you just kind of share with your heart. So.
Mm-hmm.
And I think too, if people are questioning you and, things like that, you can message them privately. That doesn't have to be a public conversation in the comment section either, if you feel like it warrants a response.
It kind of makes me think also about the thread. Do you just put a little like whenever someone does a comment? Do you need to do a reply to that? How do you handle the thread? Sometimes I hope no one says this. I hope none of you have said this to me, but I cannot stand you. Go, girl. That makes me.
That's just not who you are. Yeah, but other people, that's exactly who they are. That's how they speak. Like, it just depends on what their language is to show their love. Yeah. I mean, I've said it.
To answer the question about I think to answer the question about the thread, I think the advice would be to respond to every single comment that you get. And it doesn't have to be, a full, like I said, a full conversation, but just a response like that you saw it and you were grateful that they took the time to comment.
Yeah, sometimes we'll respond with, I'm going to send you a message, or, thanks for the comment, or much love, whatever it may be. But if it warrants an actual conversation, I typically do that behind the scenes. Yeah. I don't throw it in there. I take it out of the thread. We have a conversation in private, whether that's voice message and Messenger, or like that kind of stuff. But I don't put the whole paragraph in the feed or in the thread to answer that.
And when
Monica gave me this just the other day. Monica gave me that advice, but the person I was responding to was my mom, so I knew that wasn't going to go anywhere.
Yes. Well, and then when in doubt of what to respond, emojis always will do the trick. Like a smile, a heart, a little kissy face, the poop emoji if needed, whatever. Emojis are a lifesaver. A lot of times you're like, I don't have any more words because 7 people have posted the same thing, and I don't want to keep saying the same thing. I'm going to give you a heart. I'm going to give you a high five. I'm going to give you the smiley hands,
Oops.
What's going on, Monica? Okay, Jess, do you want me to share the screen of this coach checklist, or do you want to talk about it first?
You can I'm just on my phone, so I got to make sure I see what we're talking about. It's the coach check-in, right? This one. Yes. All right.
I'm having issues here, apparently. Hold on.
You're okay. I'll start talking. All right. So we had a bunch of our top leaders went to a leader conference in Vegas this past week. And one of the things that one of our coaches shared, Danielle Natoni, she shared a, sorry, I'm like staring at this. She shared a kind of a checklist, and they typed it up for us and shared it within our teams, which I think is fantastic. But she stood on stage and she went through a list of 15 questions that as coaches we need to be asking ourselves, especially if we are a coach who is wanting to move our business forward. You have to ask yourself these questions honestly. And I feel like if you go through them and say, yeah, I'm doing really good at this, but I haven't done that, I haven't done that, it should be an eye-opening experience for you. So we put it together. We'll put it in the group page too for our teams. But I'll just run through a few of these real quick so you guys can kind of get your head wrapped around it. But the first one, are you being proof the products worked or work? Are you drinking Shakeology? Are you doing your workout? Like, are you being proof the products work? Is your status still active? It's a big one. Are you currently receiving a monthly shipment or subscription product? So are you on HD for anything? Have you completed a program from start to finish this year? Some of you guys are brand new to us. You may be in the middle of a program, but is it your intent to finish that by the end of the month, by the end of November? If you haven't already finished one, that needs to be something that you really focus on from start to finish. Do you listen to the National Wake Up Call each week? Whether that's live or recorded. I try to catch them live on Monday, but that doesn't always happen. Life gets in the way sometimes, but I make it a priority to make sure that I listen to it. I actually listened to mine this morning. So Wednesday is when I got to mine. Do you get on our team calls? Well, those of you on here do, so thank you for being here. And if you're not on them, are you watching the recordings? Are you registered for Summit? You guys, I talk about this all the time. Live events are huge for your business. And there's so many reasons for that, but the number one reason, in my opinion, is that because you get to see all of these people face to face. You get to hug them, you get to hear their stories, you get to be in the moment. Live events are where it's at, you guys. Are you going to plan on attending your next Super Saturday or Super Sunday? That's coming up in a week. It's not this weekend, it's next weekend. Can you verbalize why you want to blank? Whatever that is for you. Can you verbalize your why? Are you showing up daily on social media? That looks different for everybody. What does it look like for you? Are you showing up and posting on social media? Are you posting on a purpose or with strategy? Did you hit Success Club last month? You guys, that should be a non-negotiable for you. I don't care if it's SC5, SC10, SC20, or 50. It doesn't matter, but are you hitting SC? Did you finish a personal development book or program last month? Number 14 is, did you successfully implement a tool, tip, or strategy from a recent training? So are you putting what you learn into action? That is a huge thing. We listen to trainings, we'll listen to these calls, and then we'll hang up and we don't do anything with it. We have to put our feet forward and put action into place. And then it says, are you actively engaged with everyone on your team? So that could be as you're bringing new coaches in. Are you being a leader for them? It could be us right here working together side by side. It could be the mentors or the veteran in this group helping other leaders. I mean, so many ways, but are you actively engaged with everyone on your team, challengers included? That was a really eye-opening list for me because more so as a leader for my team, because I feel like I talk about some of these things, but truly I have coaches who want to move forward, who want to go. They have huge goals. And I like how this was written out. I think it's simple enough to kind of wrap your brain around, but also it's an honest question. Are you doing these things? And we talk about the 4 vitals, and that really is the stepping stone for your business. You have to do those 4 things. But if you want to move your business and you want to grow your business and you want to make an income, you have to do all of these things. So that's that paper. And on a side note, if I just have a couple minutes, she hasn't done this to me yet, so I'm going to keep talking. I did print out a few things that I personally am just kind of making it a little bit easier to make sure that I stay on task myself. One is the bingo chart that Jen shared within our team last month. It may have been posted again this month, but I printed it out first thing, and I thought, I'm going to pay attention to this. This is my clean copy. It's not all scratched up yet. But you guys, this is just so I can see it. It's next to my computer. When I'm working, I'm like, oh, today I'm going to do that one. It's really easy. You do that one thing, you can put an X through it. Feels good to mark it off your list. Another thing that I keep handy is my 100 chart. I know that she shared this in the group as well. You guys, it's super easy for me to just write that person's name in. And as I invite, obviously this is a clean sheet. You guys, I'm showing you all my clean sheets. You don't want to see my scratched up ones, but I just put that person's name, and then I have a highlighting system. So if they respond back, I use yellow. And then if they end up moving forward and they have more conversations and they join my challenge group, it turns into green. If they are a no thanks, it gets an X on it. I follow up with them later. So however you want that to work, that's another one that I do. And then this one is another one that Jen has shared in the past. It's the win the week. This, you guys, I'm all about checking things off my list. This is a super easy way to say, yep, I worked out this week. Yes, I drank my Shakeology this week. Yes, I did my post on social media. And as the day goes on, I mean, that's real quick. I did that, done. Did I do my invites? Yeah, 21 invites, 3 a day, right? So however it works for you is what you need to do. But I think this is a really good place to start. Having said that, if you're wanting to move your business forward faster than this, they shared this one, which is win the week. It just takes it up to another level, you guys. And when I first saw it, I thought, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. And then I thought, Yes, I can. I do this stuff all the time. Why would I tell myself I couldn't do it? I know I can do that. So, yeah, for myself personally, I just kind of up the ante a little bit. So instead of 21 conversations, I'm having 50, which realistically, I probably have more than that. But it depends on what you want personally for yourself and your business, but you have to continuously grow and move up if that's what you want to do. And so going from this win the week, which was perfect, and I still use this sheet actually, because it's really fast for me to put X's on and hold myself accountable, because it's easier. I don't know if you guys feel like this about your food journal. If you're not writing your food down, it's real easy to forget about those other things you happen to put in your mouth, right? Same with this. If I don't put an X on it, it's real easy for me to be like, oh, something came up, but at the end of the week, if I look at it and I didn't do anything, I know what my paycheck's going to look like. I know what my business is going to look like. I know that I didn't move forward the way I want to. So those are just some helpful checklists, if you will. And if you have questions, please reach out to your coach. We can talk to you about that. We can be honest and have those honest conversations about what are your goals? Where do you want to be? These are the things we have to put into place in order for you to get there. Anything else that you guys can think of that I need to share on that?
That's awesome.
Questions on that? Anybody?
Yeah, great. And if you guys can't find those forms, let us know. They're all in the team page, but
I'll repost them.
Okay.
Probably tomorrow. So I'm gonna go to bed as soon as we get off.
Thanks, Jen.
But I made a little note to myself to post those. And the other thing, just for those of you who are new or just don't know, you get rewarded for doing those things. So like Becky and Monica both got $20 in their PayPal for getting 2 bingos last month.
Hey, Monica.
What's that?
Monica and I will work for gifts,
right?
Jess will too.
I know.
That's how I am motivated, is by getting stuff.
Same.
So anyways, all of those, if you complete those things, post those things in the group, you will be rewarded. It might not be $20, it might be a gift card, it might be a headband, it might be, who knows? But you will be rewarded. And not only will you be rewarded from me, but you will be rewarded endlessly in your business because you have done things to move it forward.
Yes.
Go ahead, Beck.
No, I have something else, but you keep going with your next thought.
Well, what I really would like for us to do is to take 3 minutes. I'm going to put that checklist back up. Not because I know some of you are brand new and you don't need to be doing all those right now. However, what I would like for us to do is to just take 2 or 3 minutes, quick go through them, mark the things that you're not doing, and then look through those and say, okay, I'm going to pick one, just one of those. And from now till the end of this week, I'm going to work on doing that a little bit better. And then maybe you still need to do that next week too, and the next week. Or maybe by the next week or 2 weeks out, you can add another thing that you weren't doing that you feel like you would like to add in. Again, this is totally your business. You get to decide, but I think we could all probably look at that list and pick at least one thing that we could do better. And honestly, the thing I always come back to is even if I never sell another challenge pack, I'm connecting with people and I am encouraging people, hopefully, and helping them to live better lives. And so if I post on social media and it doesn't sell a challenge pack, but it encourages someone to text their best friend and tell them how great they are, win, right? All the things that we're doing will only improve other people's lives and our own lives. So, okay, I'm done. Let me share.
While you're sharing that, I'm going to do 30 seconds of just, the stuff Jessica was sharing, you guys, is because the sister's got big goals. So she is inviting like a boss because she wants a business like a boss. If you're someone who's like, I just want to get my Shakeology paid for, it's going to look different. So don't compare your journey and your vital behaviors to somebody else's because their goals are different. The question is, what are your goals and are your behaviors falling in line with those? And if you're not sure, then that's what your upline coach is here for, is to help you reverse engineer what those goals are. So it can be intimidating to see 3 years in what someone might be doing as opposed to where you might be at the beginning of your journey.
Yep. And so, yeah, if you look at this and you come up with the however many that you're not doing, and you decide on, if you can't decide on what's the one you should really take the next step with, ask your coach. We can help you. Okay, 2 minutes, read through it, jot down all of yours that are a no, and then just give it a 30-second thought of what am I going to commit to for the rest of the week.
And Jen, you're planning on posting this so we could print it off?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Hi, Rach.
Hello.
Weird moment when you don't know if people need more time.
I know.
So
Can I make a comment real quick?
Yeah.
Just to piggyback on what Becky said, yes, my goals are a lot different today than they were when I first started. My main goal when I first started was just to hit Success Club and do my 4 vital behaviors. And sometimes I did okay with those, and sometimes I needed to work on those a little bit more. And as you grow and as you move forward, it can become whatever you want it to be. So, you know, as I was sharing this one or the really big, scary win the week one that has all of these on it, I never started. Like, that is not where I started. And I think it's okay for everybody to know that you start where you want to start. But just like Jen and Becky both said, we'll help you reach your goals, whatever those goals are, whether they're big, giant, and scary ones. And to you at that moment, hitting SC5 might be that big, giant, scary goal for you. And that's totally cool, because it was big and scary for me when I first started too. And as you grow, we'll help you grow. That's our point. I love you all. That's it. Next.
Okay, so this might feel like intimidating, or maybe it doesn't, I don't know. But I would love for everybody to share the one thing that they are going to focus on, so that when we get back on the phone a week from Friday, we can ask each other how it's going. Because honestly, I mean, I'm realizing, and you probably have all realized this, and if I don't say the things I'm trying to do out loud and nobody knows, it's way easier for me to pretty quickly justify why, I'll do it another time. So I'm going to write down what you say, not because you're going to be in trouble or anything, but because I want to help hold you to the things that you say you want to do. So I will start. One of the things that I do not do, that I'm a no on this list, is, what number is it? Well, it's kind of 10 and 11 together. And it's funny because, 10 and 11 together. There are days that I feel totally stuck in, I don't know what to post, so I don't post anything. And 5 or 6 days went by last week, and I was on stories, but I didn't post a post. And I think it's because I don't have a strategy. I have a purpose, but I don't have a strategy. And so something that I've decided I need to do is to map out my social media posts for a week at a time or a month at a time. And that's just something I know that will help me to be more consistent with it. I'm fine on stories, but it's like putting the post up for some reason. I'm like, I want to say the right thing. And then we're talking about stories, and I want the right story, and I don't want to post anything that's not worthwhile. And I don't want to just post a quote, because I say don't just post a quote. So it's almost, there's so much that you should do that you end up doing nothing. So that's my one thing that I am going to work on doing over the next week. So, Jess, you're next on my.
Did you say me? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I have a couple that I want to do better. I feel like, if I'm honest, I could probably put yes on all of them, but they definitely have some that I need to take to another level. So my ones taking to another level are showing up on social media daily, because I I completely get that feeling. The same thing actually had to happen last weekend. I just felt overwhelmed. So because I was overwhelmed, I didn't do. And that's why I pulled out these papers today, because I was like, I have to put my feet forward. And that's why I started working today and really getting back into it. And my other one is number 15. Are you actively engaged with everyone on your team? When I say team, I mean every person who is one of my coaches, every one of my challengers. And as I grow, it's getting big, which I love that I'm be able to help so many people. But as the months go on, people leave, and trying to follow up and be engaged with everybody is definitely something I want to do better at. So those are my two that I really want to focus on for next time.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks. Beck? Oh, she's muted. I don't know if she's meaning to talk to us. Unmute. I can unmute.
Sorry, my phone's plugged in a different outlet. I'm just a hot mess. Everything died on me. Sorry about earlier. That the national wake up calls, I did really great for a while, and then got kind of behind. So I'm working my way through catching up on those. So I got to keep working on that one. I actually just went back and listened to one from September 3 from Labor Day. And if you guys don't know this, the national wake up calls are in the Beachbody 411 page, and there's one on September 3 that was really great. So most team calls I get on for our team, but not always are upline. But I want to work on that. And then kind of the same as Jess is that I want to make sure I'm reaching out to everybody. And that's sometimes really hard to do. So I want to work on that. So that's my big goal. So number 15 will be my big goal, Jen.
All right. Awesome. All right. Let's see. Rachel, you're next on my screen.
Can't find myself to unmute. Am I muted?
No, you're not muted. We can hear you.
Oh, good. So, I wrote down a few.
Okay. Maybe what's the most doable one on your list?
Well, I think the first one that I really need to just focus on is posting with purpose. And instead of just posting about my life and then posting, hey, got a group coming up, like trying to integrate the two a little bit better, just to share a little bit more versus seeing them as very separate. Because I think then that might lead to the next one, which is hitting SC, because I didn't last month and I did the month before, and right now I've got a big old goose egg. So we'll see where that leads, but I want to just kind of be a little bit more mindful and purposeful, and continuing on with the vital behaviors. That this is really, I mean, I've been doing this for 3 years, and I think this is the first time I'm kind of like getting into a groove and clicking those things off. And that feels really good because I've always pooped out eventually and then had to get back in the saddle again. And so anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Awesome. How about you, Mon?
Mine are definitely 13 and 14. So 13 is, did you finish a personal development book? So I have 3 that are ongoing, and it's been like that for months. And I love reading. I just get overwhelmed with life, and I don't do it as much as I should. I do my devotional every single morning, but actually diving into a book from start to finish, I need to work on. So please follow up with me next week. I don't know if I'll finish a book by next week, but I'll try. And then 14, did you successfully implement a tool, tip, or strategy? Again, I sit at a desk for 8 to 10 hours a day, so it's easy for me to listen to all this stuff. And if I don't do it in the moment, then I probably don't implement it. So I need to really work on, when I listen to a call, really go back to my notes and listen and actually put it into practice and make it happen. So those 2 I will be focusing on.
Sounds good. All right, Amy, you're up.
All right, just real quickly, a little bit of my backstory. I think in 2016, I actually became a coach, and but the team I was on, I didn't have anybody to pour into me, to explain things, and to encourage me to even grow a business even slightly. I decided to take a pause from it, a 6-month break, and then I ran back into Monica. We are childhood friends, and we had our high school reunion, etc. I hope you're not hearing my family be loud.
We love it.
But So I decided to, I missed the Shakeology and then got connected with Monica, so forth, so forth. And so, I'm really intrigued by all the potential here. I'm definitely a go-getter personality, but I do have a lot of personal commitments. But I'm intrigued about the Success Club. I think maybe it'd be a year-end goal before the end of the year. I'm going to at least hit that by once. I told Monica I really want to work on myself through the end of the year, and then come January, have my story really developed more, and just continue to learn from each of you and follow your pages and see what you're doing. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. But I'm not going to get Success Club by next week, but just kind of look through this list and think it through. That's kind of where I'm at.
Well, and I would encourage you too, Amy, that don't wait until January when you feel like you have it all wrapped up in a pretty picture. Like, people will resonate and will connect more with the process and the journey than they will seeing somebody that's on the end of it, because they're not at the end of it. They're trying to figure out how to get in the saddle, like Rachel said. And so if they see somebody who's on that ride and isn't done and off the horse and moved on, they can connect with that more. So just an encouragement, not telling you what to do, but just to know, like, people will connect more with you in the process than once you've got it all figured out. But so what I wrote down for you then was number 12 is a year-end goal, and maybe number 1, being proof the products work, you're going to just work on yourself. So does that sound about right? So I can check in with you on? Okay.
That'd be good. Thank you.
All right, Joe, you're up, sister. I haven't heard your voice at all tonight. It's so sad.
I picked 2. One of them is posting on social media. I take a lot of pictures, so my phone is loaded, and I always like, I'll get to that later, and I never get to it later. Mm-hmm. So I always have great intentions, and I just have to follow up with those. So I would say that is one, and then the other one is listening to the national wake-up calls and then doing something with it, because I have books of notes. Like, I listen to them, get all excited, and fail there. So I just want to follow through with that also.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, and the thing that I'm just taking away from this little chat about everybody's goals is that we are all so different, right? Like, we all have different strengths and we all have different weaknesses, and we have different ways that we approach it. We have different goals. And so that's the beauty of a team and a family, is that we're all the different parts and we can work together. And so, like, something that I'm good at, maybe Becky's not. And so she asks me to help her. Something I'm not good at, maybe Joe's good at. And so I can ask her. And so I hope that you will use this community and our team page and get on Messenger with people. Like, if Amy, you were saying you're going to kind of follow along with some of us. And so if you see something, any of us, if we see something that somebody else is doing and you're like, wow, I'm super impressed and I suck at that, send that person a message. Like, ask them to just word vomit all their wisdom on you. And that's what we're here for, because we do not all have the same number written down of the thing we're going to work on. We're all working on different stuff, and we're all good at different stuff. So I guess that's just my little encouragement. It's 9 o'clock, so we need to be done. But take advantage of the team, family, friends that we have here in helping you move your business forward, because that's why we're here. And he is so cute. What a great way to end the call.
Wait, we're going to end before everybody goes?
What do you mean?
Aren't there more people?
Like who?
Oh, never mind. Brian and Katie aren't on anymore.
Yes, get your butt on.
Oh, I'm sad. Katie jumped off. I wanted to have her go.
No, she's been gone for a little while.
Okay, I'm on my phone so I can see everybody.
Okay, no, I wasn't going to cut anybody off. I think we got everybody who's on.
She recorded it, so we can take a screenshot.
I recorded it, and so I am going to, when I post the recording, I am going to ask people to make it to the end and comment with the number of what they're working on. So maybe Katie and Brian will comment.
Okay.
Katie, if you got this far, I'll send you a little prize.
Okay, bye everybody.
All right, wait. Somebody take a picture.
I'll take a screenshot. Smile. Okay, I'll send it.
Bye, friends.
And thanks, Monica, for helping me out with the clean up your coffee thing. My sister-in-law is joining.
Yes! That's so great.
Yeah, so she can give it a shot. Mom's going to send it off for me.
Did you say your sister or your sister-in-law?
Sister-in-law. Oh, no, not my sister.
I'm like,
That'll be a miracle of miracles.
I get a prize if that happens. I don't care if
Yep.
that
same
happens.
with Allison. It's not going to happen. Our sisters are never going to join us.
I'll fly you guys down here for a long weekend.
There you go. All right, see you guys.
If